Good morning to my St. Ailbe's family.
Good morning.
Happy Mother's Day to all the lovely mothers, grandmothers, godmothers, and mothers in general. We honor you, not just today, but every day. Today I would like to share with you the journey I've traveled on while raising my grandsons. It was a journey that I totally resisted in the beginning. Because I had my own agenda for my life, planned, at least that's what I thought. I often think about an old African proverb, it takes a village to raise a child. I don't think a more true statement has ever been made. There was actually times when I thought I needed more than a village. I thank God every day for my wonderful church family who was so inspirational, motivational, and very encouraging throughout my mission, my journey, I should say. Before I proceed, I would like to introduce myself and my immediate family. My name is Linda Walker, my husband is Luther Walker, and my grandsons are Ricky Arnold and Jeremy Foster. Ricky and Jeremy's mother is here today, and her name is Shakika Foster, and my younger daughter, Angela Foster. Ricky Arnold, my oldest grandson, who is 19 years old, and Jeremy, my younger grandson, who just turned 18, have both attended St. Ailbe's for 11 years. Both boys were baptized and received their first Holy Eucharist in March of 2005, and received the sacraments of confirmation on March 28, 2008. Ricky and Jeremy came into my life at a time when I was contemplating and planning my retirement. As you can see, my planning did not include raising any more children. See, I later learned to understand that as we are busy planning, thinking we are in control, life will throw you a curveball. See, what I later came to realize, even though it took me a minute, was that I no longer had a plan. God had written my plan for me, and it was time for me to play my part. God's plan was for Luther and I to raise Ricky and Jeremy. But that human part of me kicked in, making me more and more resistant. And the longer I resisted God's plan, the more difficult it became for me to accept His plan. Being a Christian, I realize that we're God's servants and our existence on earth is for His purpose. I realized that it was not about my desires, it was about being a vessel for Him to use to accomplish His will, which included raising my grandchildren. Once I stopped resisting His will, everything just fell in place and became so uncomplicated. I'm not saying I didn't have problems or obstacles to climb over on the way. However, my faith carried me through, and I persevered. The Bible verse that came to mind so often was Proverbs 22:6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. I started bringing the boys to church with me. After attending church with them for approximately 1 month, I inquired about Sunday school. I was informed that Mrs. Ruthie Hawkins would assist me with enrollment. You see, I had a concern about Ricky because he had special needs. So his environment was extremely important to me. I didn't want him to be teased because of his condition, nor did I want him to be ostracized. Little did I know, God was paving the way for these boys. Little to my understanding, God was putting the right people in my path for them. He was working it out. In a roundabout way, I mentioned Ricky's condition to Mrs. Hawkins, and before I could actually finish my thought, she said to me in her very soft, soothing voice, "Don't worry, everything will be fine." Let me say this. The best thing I could have ever did was put them in St. Ailbe's Sunday school. I'm not saying this to boost the Sunday school program. It was definitely the right environment for them, the perfect social gatherings, the educational aspects, and the acceptance, the discipline implemented, and the spiritual structure. It was truly an awesome experience for them to have been a participant of. Ricky and Jeremy enjoyed Sunday school tremendously and anticipated coming every Sunday. One Sunday, Mrs. Bonita Chapman approached me and asked me if my sons could serve as altar servers. I stated, they are my grandsons, and Jeremy could serve. However, I didn't think Ricky would be able to perform the task because of his condition. Mrs. Chapman assured me that things would work out fine. I went home, and all I could do was cry. Tears of joy. I was so happy because I knew God was right there with me on this journey. I thanked him for placing another wonderful person onto my path. Mrs. Chapman worked relentlessly with Ricky until he performed the job of altar server with his eyes closed. Ricky was an amazing altar server. His self-esteem was definitely enhanced. You know God works. You see how God works. He puts the right people in your life at the right time. After service on Sundays, when Ricky served, he would always ask me, "How did I do, Grandmother? Did I do a good job?" My responses were always encouraging. I told him how proud of him I was. Jeremy was proud of him also. Jeremy knew I was proud of him. Ricky just required a little bit more assurance. Both of my grandsons are presently in school. Ricky attends ECHO, which stands for Exceptional Children Have Opportunities. Jeremy is presently attending Seton Academy and is scheduled to graduate on May the 25th. After which, he will be attending Columbia College in Chicago to study music business. Before closing, I would like to take this opportunity to say thank you to my Heavenly Father for all the wonderful people He put in our path to help us accomplish His will. Thanks to my wonderful husband, Luther, who has been there for me on each and every step of this journey. Thanks to my two lovely daughters, Shakita and Angela. When situations became too stressful, we worked it out amongst each other. I would like to give a special thanks to both Mrs. Ruthie Hawkins for watering the seeds for my grandson's spiritual growth, and Mrs. Bonita Chapman for believing in Ricky and Jeremiah. Last but not least, I must say thank you to my St. Ailbe's family. It would have been a difficult journey without you. Our Heavenly Father has continued to bless me, and I pray He will continue to bless the people He delicately placed into my path to help me achieve His plan. Even though my journey started off with doubt, anxiety, and resistance, it ended up being an enhancement and blessing beyond my thought process. My grandsons have added so much joy, excitement, and energy into my life. And as I look back,